Welcome to Jessie at Home. This tutorial is part of the series that gives you these 3 little picot flowers and this little leaf. We are actually on this tutorial going to be working on this little leaf. If you would like the instructions on the rest of these patterns, those can be found at jessieathome.com. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, if you look underneath the video, there is a little section that says description, and in that description is a link to where you can find the rest of these patterns. So we are working on this little picot leaf. To do that, I'm going to start off obviously with your slip stitch. Now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we have this chain here, okay, and you see your 3 chains, and then you see the bumps on the back of those chains. We're actually going to be working into that bottom loop, or the bump on the bottom of the very first chain that we did. So we're making a double crochet into the bottom loop, that little bump of our first chain. There's our double crochet into that bottom loop. Now we're going to make a treble crochet to the same loop. Some people call it triple, some people call it treble. Either one is the same thing. Okay, now we're going to make a picot, which is just chaining 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the first chain that you made. Now we're going to make another treble into that same stitch we've been working into before. And a double into that same stitch we've been working into, and chain 2, 1, 2, and slip stitch into that same stitch. Everything goes in the same place on this little guy, okay? And now I'm going to clip our thread, pull it through, pull the yarn through, and we have our little flower and our 2 ends, and I will show you how I like to take care of those ends. First we want to get them to about the same length. Makes life easier. Toss those ends onto a yarn needle. Turn your little leaf over. And you see all these stitches coming out of that first chain. I'm going to run the needle through all of them, leaving one little loop alone. Okay, kind of pulls everything together. Now, you see this is where my yarn came out of all of these stitches. I don't want to put my needle back in there, or else I'll just undo everything I just did. So I'm going to actually put my needle over top of one stitch and then go back under another chunk of them. Okay, and that's just going to lock everything in place. And if you really want to be careful, you can do it again. You see how I came out here? I can go one more stitch over, go under a few more pieces, lock those stitches into place again. Okay, and then clip that. And here you have your little picot flower, or leaf, sorry, your little picot leaf. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and you can always find more at jessieathome.com.